Hello and welcome back to Sprite Plays Hyper Rogue. I feel like I owe you a little bit of an apology for the last episode, and possibly episodes before that. I was going back over some of my videos, looking for something to submit to Unsucky Sunday, which is a weekly Let's Play kind of competition compilation. And I was looking at the most recent episode of Hyper Rogue, and then I looked at my first episode because I got a comment on it, and I realized that the difference in quality was just really striking, and I just did a much better job on my first video than I did on my fifth video, which is not the direction that I want to be heading in. I want to be making these videos always better, and I have some monsters coming after me, so I don't want to throw away this run already. Let's see if we can get into the jungle and make something happen. So I was looking at my fifth video, and it was just, I was talking very slowly, and I was pausing a lot to think, and my first video I didn't play as well, and I didn't know as much about the game, but I was much smoother. And I feel like that is a really big change, that I was playing better, but talking so much worse. I am in a little bit of trouble. Let's see if I can get out of it. Okay, there's them lined up. I have a lot of stuff coming after me, and I don't even have that many rubies. Let's see if I can get out of some of this trouble and head over here, see if we can find, we need 3 more rubies. May want to postpone getting those for a little bit because I'm pulling a lot of heat and I'm not actually getting a lot of rubies, and I'm pulling heat even from areas that I have not even been to yet. So let's leave those 3 rubies for later. We can probably find them. We will probably at some point run into some rubies that are easy to pick up, so I'm not too worried about my ability to get the last 3 rubies that I need. So let's go into the living caves, and we should be able to fairly quickly and easily gather up the gold that we need. And I actually want to stay a little bit close to this crossroads because I want to be able to get back into it once we're done. And let's see, that is 6, 7, this will be 8, and 9, and now I actually want to, hopefully, find my way back to that crossroads. And there it is right there. So from here we can just follow along the Great Wall until we see, like, through this entrance, is there any gold? I don't really see anything, and things are getting a bit difficult. There's our last gold right there. Just want to make sure that I will still be able to get out of here. And I can, so let's head into the crossroads. So now we can go back into the jungle and try to get those last 3 rubies, or we can head into the desert. And so I'm going to kind of poke around this jungle and try and see if I can get the kind of inroads that I need, and I'm just not really seeing it. So I'm going to just do some quick in and out here, and that actually has now blocked off my path, but it's a single. So that will actually get us our 10th ruby. So our next goal is either the desert, or we should have some of the new areas unlocked. But because the desert is right here, I'm going to try and get it out of the way quickly, and I also want to get the mirrored land out of the way quickly. So the thing to do may be to go along the border between the mirrored land and the desert and just grab whatever I can see in each of those lands. Now I want to be careful. I want to remember that I need to fight things as soon as I see them in the mirrored land, so I do want to be careful. So one thing that I know that I need to do in this series is I need to plan out a little bit better what I'm going to say. In my first episode, I know that I planned almost every single thing that I was going to say, and I haven't planned everything I'm going to say today, but I have planned things out a little bit more, and my hope is that I will continue to think of things to say, and this will just go really smoothly. If it doesn't, it will still be a learning experience, and I will continue to try to make better videos. I'm a little bit uncertain whether it's the greatest idea to talk about my commentary while I'm commentating. That's something I have kind of wondered about, thought about, and never really came to a conclusion, but I feel like at this point it has become a little bit of a signature, and I did start out this channel actually wanting to make learning to commentate a little bit of a visible process, where I would go through the process of learning to make Let's Plays and make that really visible, because I wanted to sort of bring people along for that journey. A really big theme since the inception of this channel has been the journey of learning, and that's not something that I want to let go of just yet. And I think that sometimes I do a good job of bringing across the journey of learning the games, but I'm not always sure that I am really great at also talking about the journey of learning how to commentate, which was really something that I started out wanting to talk about. But I don't actually know if that is the best thing to talk about. I have talked a little bit in the past about wanting to pay more attention to what it is that's entertaining. And I've been trying to do more tutorial videos for that reason. I've been trying to bring more stories into my games for that reason, and that's partly just wanting to listen to the feedback that I've gotten about my videos. That one of the concrete pieces of feedback that I have gotten is that people want more stories. And so more stories is something that I fully intend to bring into this channel eventually. And it's going to be a learning process. It's not something that is going to happen right away, and it's not something that's going to happen in big leaps and bounds. I have been thinking a little bit about the last episode in terms of the story that it was, and I realized that there were story moments that I didn't really capitalize on as much as I could have. And so that's something that I want to look for in this episode, is what is the story of this episode? What is the narrative arc? And so far things have been going very smoothly. We've gotten everything that we need very easily. Because we have now unlocked Relia, I kind of want to go into it and maybe save the alchemy lab for a little bit later, because it's so difficult to get out of the alchemy lab. Now, one thing that I had actually talked about wanting to do is going for a temple high score rather than just going for a Ender victory. And so I actually think that that is what I wanted to do. That is one of the things that I had planned out for this episode, but I hadn't really decided whether or not that was going to be what I did. I always plan out a few different things that I might do because I want a little bit of an improvisational side to these videos. I really like improvising. I like improvising more than I like reciting things, and I like practicing things, and I like performing things, but if it doesn't have that little bit of improvisation, then it feels a little bit less good, I guess. So, getting into the temple, the way you have to get a high score is you can only get one treasure from each level. And every time you go in through one of these circles, you go into a deeper level of the temple. There is no bottom. And so you can just keep going as long as you like, but it continues to get more dangerous with these cult leaders and these tentacles that you have to figure out how to block off. And it can be pretty tricky to do that. Like, this tentacle, I don't really see a way to barricade it in. I think that might actually do the job. Yeah, that has blocked it in. Now, who just threw fire at me? Because I don't see where they are on the screen. And that's worrying. Okay, I think they're on the other side of this tentacle. So I'm not too worried. Here's another cult leader. So the dangerous thing about cult leaders is that they are able to move the statues. They don't get blocked in by them. And so we have to be a little bit careful to watch out for them, because we can kind of deal with tentacles just by blocking their path and making it harder for them to get to us. And we can deal with cultists in the same way, but we can't deal with cult leaders that way. So we now have 7 grimoires. We're at the 7th level. I've been to the 10th level before, and I may have been a little bit deeper. So I'll really be trying to go for, I believe there's an achievement at 25. That would be ideal. Now, if a cultist throws fire at us like this, we can't move a statue. We have to move off of the fire, because there's that kind of sense of urgency that this game sometimes brings in, where you can only do certain things if you have time for them. I know that in Camelot, in the last episode, I showed that you cannot land on the table, that you have to move off of the table as soon as you've moved on to it. Yeah, we got one from this level. So we've got a lot going on, a lot blocking our path, and we are going to need to go kind of a roundabout path, because we've got all of these fires roaring and this tentacle blocking our way. And then once we're in this level, there's not a lot of grimoires for us to grab. But I believe if we go this way, this optimizes our path a little bit, because it lets us get really close to the entrance to the next level. But then after having done that, I'm getting swarmed by so many cultists that I'm now going to have to back away from the next level of the temple. So this is 12 we're at. And I believe that is a personal high score. Now, I believe the grimoires can burn now. I remember there was an update recently that changed what things could burn. And I don't remember what all they changed. I believe that orbs can now burn, and I think grimoires can burn, and I'm not sure what else. I remember it mentioning that there was one kind of orb that could burn, and that now there are more kinds of orbs that can burn. So there are a lot of things after us at this point, and I'm going to have to kind of go along the edge of this next level of the temple until I can find an inroad. And there we go. We've got a way in now. So now we need to get a grimoire from this level. And then it's probably going to be quite a lot more combat until we can... yeah, the tentacle will get us there. Alright, we have to move off of that space. So that fire will actually create a choke point here that will let us line these guys up. Is this a... yeah, that's an orb of the dragon. That might be useful. It's not as useful as it seems like it would be, but it can be kind of tactically effective. Now, did we get a grimoire from this level? We did not. And we can't go through... oh no. Alright, so that is the end of my attempt at getting a temple high score. We got 15. I believe you need 25 in order to get the achievement. So this is what happened. We were between a cultist and a tentacle, and there was just... they were on opposite sides of us. So getting two monsters on opposite sides of you like this is really the most dangerous thing, because there's really nowhere that I can escape. Even if this pillar was not here, I could not escape to this spot. If the tempo had been a little bit different, I could have gotten past this tentacle, but because this tentacle was active, it blocked off the two spaces next to it. So because this was so brief, It was only 13 minutes 57 seconds. I am going to do a regular Hyper Rogue episode as well. But I had a lot of fun doing that. It was fun to do something a little bit different and go for more of a high score, and I think that's something that I want to do a little bit more in the future. I'm planning on starting to stream. I haven't really figured out the logistics of it yet, but one of the things that I want to do is stream some speed runs and some challenge runs, and do that a bit more. So that will be coming up in the future. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.